Hello and welcome back to episode 3 of God Bless Fantasy Football. Got the typical crew today. Me, Brandon Tiedemann, my co-host, my partner, duo in crime, Andrew Rogers.
Duo in crime.
And then we got Kahm in the booth.
I don't think I've ever heard that said that way. I've heard partner in crime.
It's a new thing. It's a new thing we're going with.
No,
Yeah.
I am setting the way of new ways to say common phrases.
Hey, we're 2-0, so
We are?
I'll allow it.
Exactly. Until we lose, then I can do whatever I want, right?
I still bet you're going to do whatever you want even when we lose.
You are correct. Kahm won this week.
I did. I beat my my matchup. I'm not even sure who it was, but
I can look.
like by the name, like I don't know the name. It didn't say like, oh, it's Steve's team. It said whoever.
I don't even know who it was.
I don't know who it was, but I beat him like by 20 points or something.
They have a name.
No, you won by less than a point.
Oh, it was before last night's games. I guess I was up 20 or so.
Yes.
Yeah.
You won 105.1 to 106.24. Okay, you won by a point.
Still a win.
1.1.
W's a W.
So who did he play?
You played Sam.
Sam. Oh, Sam. One
Sam
of your
Brennan,
guys.
my guy. Well, he had it coming. I haven't talked to him for a week, and he didn't talk to me
He had
smack
it
or
coming.
anything. But yeah, he had it coming.
I just don't like that guy. You know who's really hard to hate? Sam.
He is.
Yeah.
He is
He's
a
so
guy
nice.
that is really hard to hate.
Yeah.
Like
We actually
me,
we
it's
started here
easy.
together, so it's like we're kind of comrades all the way around. So
Yeah, well, he's just so nice.
Yeah.
He's so nice, and you know when we kick the shit out of him in fantasy football this year, I'm gonna tell him good game, and I'm gonna be nice about it.
Well,
Because
I'm glad you
he's
said a
really
cuss word
nice.
first. So now the floodgates are open, Big Daddy. I'm coming in. I try to censor myself sometimes, but no, it's on now.
Nope. Band-Aids off.
Yep, here we go.
Week 3. You can say whatever the hell we want. But
Well,
this-
when you're 2-0, you can say whatever you want, right, Cam?
Champs.
Oh wait, you aren't.
I'm 1-1.
Oh,
It's okay.
Oh,
we are first in the league. We are ranked number 1, as we should be. We do have the show.
I think we were supposed to finish what 9th,
9th? Yeah.
11th. How many people are in our league?
12. 12 of us.
Too many.
Yeah, you know, this week was just somber for fantasy football. Just a lot of injuries, and I'm not liking how this NFL season is trending. You know, Nick Chubb's injury was, I mean, just a gut punch. I'm actually worried that he may never play football again with how his leg snapped.
That's
when it
his second
made contact
injury
with
on
Minka
that leg.
Fitzpatrick's. Was it a head or knee? I mean, what happened to Minka's knee? Like, what didn't he get hurt just as bad? Maybe not as, like, you know,
Not knee.
earth-shattering as Nick Chubb's injury, but, you know, let's just kind of run through this for a hot sec. You have Nick Chubb, who's injured. You have Aaron Rodgers, who's out for the season. You have J.K. Dobbins, who went out for the year last week as well. David Montgomery twisted his knee in an odd way. Saquon twisted his knee in an odd way. It's just like,
Again.
what is
Yeah, again.
happening? You know, it's this is the point in time where you have to be strategic on the waiver wire and who to pick up and who to have, who not to have. But you know, I was looking up and down a couple of my fantasy free agent lists, and in 2 of the 3 leagues that I play in on Yahoo, Jerome Ford is owned. I'm
Yeah.
like, how is this guy owned? Nick Chubb was, for the longest time, somebody that always stayed on the field. Like, even when he wasn't, he was back in a week. He was back in 2 weeks. He never had a long-term injury outside of when he was in college. And Jerome Ford at 13% is owned in 2 formats. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it.
I didn't because I looked today in our league. I was like, oh, no one has Jerome Ford. Nope. Someone has Jerome Ford.
Like, who drafts Jerome Ford and didn't have Nick Chubb already? Like, that's what ended up being the case in a couple of my leagues. Somebody had Nick Chubb and somebody else had Jerome Ford on their bench. What is he offering you on the bench in the first 2 weeks? Like, you just got lucky that you just stumbled into, you know, an RB1. Maybe an RB1 for the future. It depends on what the Browns end up doing, whether they sign somebody, they trade for somebody, whatever. I don't think Jerome Ford's going to be the guy moving forward, but it just shocked me. I was in total disbelief that he was owned in a couple of formats.
Yeah, I didn't because same with another running back, Cam Akers, out of nowhere, this dropped him off the depth chart,
Yeah, that's so weird.
and they're not releasing anything about why.
And
He
you know
doesn't
what's
even
crazy
why.
about Cam Akers is, I think it was the last 5 weeks of or 6 weeks of last season, he was the number one producing fantasy running back from a yards point of view. He had at least 80 yards per game in the last 5 or 6 weeks. And now all of a sudden this season, they're just like, yeah, we're all out on Cam Akers. We're not going his way. We're going to stick with Williams, and that's where we're just going to stay. Wait a second. What? Are we not? Did anybody watch what happened last season?
They just don't care.
No? Okay. Well, if that's the case, I'm happy for Cam that he's going to go to a different team because they never treated him right in L.A. Ever. He had his issues early on, but he was a rookie. And what? You're just going to kick him to the curb? Dude was a second-round pick. He was very productive at Florida State. You drafted him in the, I think it's the same draft as Jonathan Taylor, right?
Yeah.
DeAndre Swift. Like, he was a part of a really nice running back class. And now you're just going to say, yeah, you're not very good. Go play for somebody else. Okay. Maybe the Browns. Maybe the Browns take him up. Maybe the Colts, if they don't want to deal with the Jonathan Taylor situation any longer. He'll find a home. He'll easily find a home. But I just laugh at the fact that, we as fantasy managers took Cam Akers anywhere from like round 5 to round 7, and he hasn't even touched the field.
Yeah, he was like the guy that was like, why is he going so late? And I guess the football gods know more than we do. They must have been in the practices for the Rams, and now he's got cut. It was announced at like 10 o'clock on Sunday that he wasn't going to be in. That's crunch time for fantasy because I had him on one of my teams. I'm like, well, I can't play him now if he's just getting dropped off.
You know what's funny about that situation? A little bit of the same with Amari Cooper, who on Sunday was listed as not going to play on Monday because of Adam Schefter reports. And then all of a sudden Monday rolls around and Amari Cooper's playing. So I, being the, diligent manager that I am, sat Amari Cooper and just picked up Tutu Atwell off of, the free agent list. Nobody snagged him on the waiver week, which I wasn't surprised. I mean, Puka was kind of like the go-get-him grab, but Tutu took a back seat, and I dropped Nebraska legend Trey Palmer to pick up Tutu Atwell. And boy, did Tutu Atwell play some pretty good football for me. And I sat Amari Cooper, and, it could have gone sideways for me, but I ended up winning the week by like 10 points. It was fire, so now I'm 2-0 in that league. But that was a weird situation, too, because he just ended up playing after being listed as, likely to sit.
Yeah, Aaron Jones was announced out at 11:15 on Sunday. That was really nice.
I saw that coming. So earlier reports had A.J. Dillon on Friday sliding up because of the way Aaron Jones was trending. But, yes, that's why it's so important. With 30 minutes to go until the noon slate, you have to be on the app. You just have to. Yeah. And make sure that your questionable tags turn to, fully healthy. Or if you see a questionable tag turn to a D, you pull them out of the lineup. Because doubtful never leads to playing. Doubtful always leads to out. Always. You have to be present from 11:30 to noon on your device, on your laptop, shifting guys around so that you don't ultimately get screwed if you end up at church in the morning, right? Or you go out to brunch with the family and all of a sudden you come back, it's 12:30 and you forgot to check your lineup. You don't want to be that guy.
Check your lineups at always about 11. I learned that this week. It's okay. I got better. I still won. Didn't really matter. Thank you, Keenan Allen. You saved me. And Kirk Cousins.
Brandon Staley may get fired.
Really?
He may get fired. Like that Chargers team is not very good. They can't find a way to get the W. They'll be close loss machine all season long unless they get him out of there. If they lose again this week, Brandon Staley could be fired.
Yeah, they've always had problems with close games and even playoff.
I'm just saying. I'm gonna toss that out this week. If the Chargers lose, and let's find out who they're playing. I don't even know.
I got it up.
I just thought, man, if they would have lost last week, which they did, I was like,
No, they play my Vikings this week.
If they lose to the Vikings, they could fire him. And if they don't fire him after week 3 and they lose again in week 4 and start the season 0-4, he's gone for sure.
Because with their
For
division,
sure.
you can't be already 0-4.
No, but I think if they go 0-3, there's a really good chance that he gets canned.
And then Deion Sanders quits Colorado and becomes the Chargers' next head coach.
In 1 year, after 4 weeks of college football. I don't think that's happening.
Honestly, I would not put it past Deion Sanders to be like, sorry, guys.
Wouldn't put it past the narrative of society to just promote him.
Yes.
His fandom and fame leads him to be the next head coach of the Chargers after 4 weeks of Colorado football. Yeah, that's not happening.
That's done with Deion talk. I see him enough on my Instagram and everything, every single.
What do you
team
mean?
is-
Nobody talks about Deion ever.
Yeah. No one. Not at all. All right. Let's look at the games from last week. I'd say it wasn't a crazy week for upsets.
No,
or
like
anything.
I said, what really surprised me were all the injuries.
Yeah.
Like that's what really defeated my mood. It's why I'm kind of in a bad mood today. It's just because Nick Chubb's injury and, the worry about how to respond, not only just in fantasy, but for him, like the athlete. Like I just worry about his overall health, and it's just weird, man. It's just a really weird thing. I did predict that the Seahawks would beat the Lions.
You did.
So that was my underdog play of the week. I'm now 2-2. Or not 2-2, 2-0, like 2-4-2, I should have said. Because I picked the Lions in week 1 to upset the Chiefs, and that happened. You're welcome, Cam. And then I picked the Seahawks to upset the Lions in week 2. Maybe I just keep going with the trend. Who are the Seahawks playing this week?
Seahawks have Panthers.
Oh, man, could you imagine if I picked the Panthers to beat the Seahawks?
I don't. Yeah, Bryce,
Hey, Dog City, we just keep going with the flow. No, I'll pick my underdog this week, and I'll share it on my social media page if you want the lock. I got the Seahawks at plus 185. Last week I got the Lions, or 2 weeks ago I got the Lions at plus 190, and they both found a way to upset their opponent. So, really appreciated the bounce back from the Seahawks. But no, you're right. It was almost. I was almost about to be all out on the New York Giants. They were down. What was the score? Like 17-0 at half, like 23-0 at half.
23-0 at half.
Yeah, it was weird. And then all of a sudden, Daniel Jones drinks Michael's secret stuff and comes out in the second half and puts up 31. Was it 31-28
31.
final?
Yeah.
That's pretty incredible. Pretty remarkable that they were able to come back from that because the Giants looked horrible in that early portion of that game.
It was
the
it was
first
an
and second
ugly
quarter. They could not get a first down. They couldn't do anything, and the Cardinals' defense is bad.
The Cardinals are bad in general.
They are not a good team. They had Josh Dobbs starting this week, and
of-
Dobbs made it look like he was Patrick Mahomes out there for the first half.
Yeah, it was a tale of two halves that game, which you had those games every week. I mean, we had some overtime games this week. Seattle and Detroit, which you mentioned. Then we had Tennessee and the Chargers. Tennessee ended up winning that game.
Which surprised me because I think the Chargers started with the ball.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they did. Now, another game that really found a way to tick me off was the Green Bay-Atlanta game. Green Bay, I don't know what happened. Like, they should have controlled the living heck out of that outcome. And it just kept slipping away. Desmond Ridder became this great 2-minute quarterback and would find his way down the field, and Younghoe Koo would knock one in. But what's funny about this game is the fact that Atlanta didn't beat you by scoring touchdowns. They beat you by catching up, kicking field goals.
Yeah, they were. They kicked. How many field goals did they have? I'm gonna look right now because
it was 3 points after 3 points after 3 points, and the final was like a 1 point difference. Yeah, 25-24, I believe.
yes,
The Falcons just inched their way back. I mean, that's called resilience. That is true resiliency, and I don't know if it's a Jordan Love problem. I don't know if it's a Matt LaFleur problem, but I'll tell you what, the Packers should not have let that happen.
4 field
They
goals.
got outscored 13-0 in the fourth quarter. You allowed the Falcons to score 13 points in the fourth, and 2 of those I know were field goals.
Yes. They had
Because
2 field
they
goals.
got close. Green Bay got the ball back, couldn't ice the game, gave the ball back to the Falcons, and they came down and kicked another field goal with, like, I don't know, a minute to go. Something like that.
around that time. Yeah, it was that game, and then also Denver probably should have won their game on.
So that game was interesting. The Commanders just found a way to escape. I mean, good night. What was that, a 50-yard Hail Mary?
Yeah,
Something of that nature?
It was a bobble, guys, right place, right time. It's one of those plays that is, like, it's not going to happen again. And Russell Wilson thinks it's probably going to happen again, and it's not.
Well, what's funny, too, is you see a play like that happen, and you're just you start writing in Denver for the win.
Yeah.
Like, you just write that in. Because that doesn't happen unless they're going to win the game. The fact that they couldn't get the 2-point conversion is just laughable. It's laughable.
It's Denver
Sometimes,
football.
you know, if you actually go by what, like, the book tells you, I feel like we're playing blackjack. If you go by what the book tells you, most people would say go for 2. You have a better chance of going for 2 with the ball in the hands of your best player than you do kicking a PAT nowadays.
Yes.
Like, just getting those points. So the fact that you couldn't find a way to get 2 yards, you know how easy it is to get 2 yards in a game? Nick Chubb got 2 yards before he blew out his knee.
Well, Nick Chubb's also a pretty decently sized running back, I'd say. I mean,
Pretty
if
easy
you,
to get 2 yards. But everybody tries to get so, what's the word? Like, not glamorous. People try to get just, come on, Cam, help me out.
They had some panache.
No, that's not the word either.
Yeah, a little bit of, hey.
The only panache I like to eat is inside cake. Oh, wait, no, that's ganache.
Ganoush. I have a question, though, on that. So, not that it matters in the whole
I'm
scheme
still
of things.
thinking of this word.
You
so
think of
ask
that word? I'm
Brandon.
Okay, ask
helping
me.
you stall.
Okay.
With that
Cute.
2-point.
It's cute.
It's cute.
People try to get so cute on 2-point conversion plays that they can't just do a basic run play or a basic slant pass.
I'm just saying fullback dive
Okay.
on the 2.
Couldn't think of a 4-letter word. All right, Cam, go ahead.
Cute, a very common word as well.
I'm taking a drink of my
He's out of here.
soda off
He's
camera.
Out of here. Was that pass interference at the end of that?
Yes, that was pass interference.
thought
That
it
was
was for
tasty.
sure.
What play?
The 2-point
two-point
conversion,
conversion for the
that was pass
Broncos.
interference. He grabbed his shoulder pads.
Was there holding on that play when Geno Smith threw a touchdown? Who knows?
I mean,
All I know
There's
is
a
Andrew
couple of those this
cashed
weekend,
that bet. Yeah, no, it is pretty amazing.
Yeah.
The missed calls that we're seeing early on too. But the best call of the weekend, and I'm gonna send it to you so that you can put it in after the show's over. It was the roughing or the intentional grounding call on Geno Smith, and he comes up and he starts arguing with the official mid-call, and the official line of the year. Excuse me, I'm talking to America here.
That was great.
Like, who thinks of that? Like, that is just wit. That is true wit. And he didn't even go back and talk to Geno. He just dropped the
he
mic
kept
and
doing his
walked
thing.
away.
Yeah, sorry, I'm talking to America here, boys.
well, then week 1, when Gino was also on a hot mic, when who was pursuing him, he goes, and he threw the ball. Was it Parsons? Was it Micah Parsons? Or was it Myles Garrett? Who did they play week 1?
I don't know.
It was Aaron Donald.
Oh,
It was
okay.
Aaron. So,
So you had the team, right?
yeah.
Not.
I had the team for the quarterback.
Was it Micah Parsons? Was it the Cowboys? Was it Myles Garrett? Was it the Browns? No, it was a team in the NFC West, you dweeb.
Hey, I'm doing my best here.
All right, let's get into some other things. We just recapped
right.
the week, and I want to get into let's pick up some players. Toss me some rando questions. I'm ready. I'm ready to go.
All
I'm
right.
fired up now. I got my warm up in. Like I feel like I'm pre-gamed, and now it's time to get into the first quarter of action.
Okay. So, yet again, I'm going to ask you the question of Gus Edwards or Justice Hill.
Gus Edwards.
Gus Edwards?
Edwards.
But
Absolutely.
in the PPR league, Justice Hill is getting more of the receiving.
That's okay. Gus Edwards will find the end zone more.
Okay.
I'm taking Gus Edwards.
I mean, we already talked about the injuries with Saquon and Nick Chubb, so we're only need to gloss over those. If obviously you need to pick.
Well, okay. What we could do, though, with the Nick Chubb injury, though, is talk about two guys that I think should be picked up outside of Jerome Ford. So if Jerome Ford isn't owned, you have to get him now because he'll get the touches first over somebody else. But there are some other bodies out there and available that, could be an expected signing. Kareem Hunt makes the most sense, right?
Yeah.
He was in that system. He knows that system. And he'll probably become an impact player faster than, say, maybe like a Darrell Henderson, who's available right now. He's stopping around in Indy. He's stopping around in, where was he before that? Jacksonville.
Yeah.
He could be somebody that I think could be signed in Cleveland. Somebody that could be very productive in Cleveland as well. Outside of those two, I wouldn't pick up Pierre Strong.
No.
He's not worth the juice. Or I guess the juice isn't worth the squeeze, rather, with him. And Kahm, stop laughing. Stop
I was like,
laughing.
who's messing up phrases now?
Well, he isn't worth the juice.
He's not worth the juice.
And, I saw another, and this was a weird report, like Leonard Fournette. Like, go out and get Leonard Fournette. Don't go get Leonard Fournette. Like, come on. He's done. His career's washed. His career is over. Let's stop it with those talks.
But his nickname is Playoff Lenny.
At least Henderson is 26. Leonard Fournette is what, 80? Am I close? I'm in the ballpark. I know
We're Burrow mathing it right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Sick burn.
$1 million a second. I did that math again for my family this weekend because I went back home and everybody kept saying like $3,000 a second, and somebody else said
At least
$1
your
million.
family's like as dumb as
I'm
me.
like, wait
That's
a second,
good.
guys. You guys aren't understanding that I'm talking about a second in the day, not of his like game time played. This is every second of every day. Oh, well, I forgot about that. I guess it is closer to 1 minute than it is 3,000. If it was $3,000 a second, I'd faint on the spot.
Yeah.
He would be able to save humanity getting paid $3,000 a second for the next 5 years.
Hey, while we're on Joe Burrow, can I chat you up? So I got Geno Smith as my other quarterback.
Yep.
Who should I start this week, Geno or Joe Burrow?
Who'd you say Geno was playing? The Panthers?
Panthers.
I'd probably Geno. Geno had the most
And then
passing yards
Bengals
last week.
got the Rams.
I would play Joe Burrow.
Think so?
And the reason I would play Joe Burrow is because that game is likely to be a shootout because the Rams would make it a shootout.
Right.
The Panthers' defense is actually really good, and both of their games that so far this year have been held under, like 20 points?
Yeah.
You're probably likely to see the Rams, with the way they're using like Puka and Tutu Atwell and their receivers right now, airing the ball out, getting the ball back in Burrow's hands so that he best of both worlds, right?
Mm-hmm.
You either have to chase points or you either have to be chased. And so the way to beat the Rams is by throwing the football. It's not by eating the clock.
Okay.
I'd play Joe Burrow.
Cool.
Yeah, because also last week, Geno had 328 passing yards, but also they were in overtime. So,
Well, and against the Lions, the last 2 years Seattle's played the Lions, collectively the teams have scored over 80 points each year.
Wow.
Like last year's game was like 45-42 or some crazy score like that. This year wasn't as high, but it got close to it. Got close to that number. So anytime you play the Lions, though, you're gonna want to choose that quarterback. But I like the Panthers' defense. I think they're better than people give them credit for. So I'd lean Burrow.
yeah, probably. It just depends. Burrow's got to get it together if that's going to happen.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
But he's got every weapon to do it.
Yeah.
Like, Geno's got weapons, too, don't get me wrong, but Jamar Chase will explode here soon. He'll find a way to explode. T. Higgins is a great receiver, a really, really good receiver.
Look at Mixon involved more, too, in the pass game.
Maybe, but I just don't love Mixon on the ground either. Like, he's not a guy that I expect to rush 120 yards a game.
No, not even close. All right, so receiver talk. Josh Reynolds for the Lions. This week he had 6 catches for 66 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Yes, he did.
Would you pick him up off the waiver wire?
No.
No? Do you think it was just a fluke game?
Yeah, I don't pick up Josh Reynolds. Josh Reynolds was the second option on that first touchdown, and on that second touchdown, was it just on a streak?
Yeah.
Was he in motion and then he just streaked up the field, or am I thinking of a different game? Beside the point, Josh Reynolds isn't worth picking up at this point. Amon-Ra St. Brown's getting the looks. Sam Laporta's getting more looks. Jared Goff likes to spread the ball around, don't get me wrong, but he's going to lean more on his top guys more than he would Josh Reynolds.
Nico Collins. Yeah.
Yeah, so he's interesting to me, but I actually would rather pick up Tank Dell than Nico Collins.
You think Tank Dell's more upside?
I think Tank Dell has a lot of upside. He did that in preseason football. And he's built this rapport with C.J. Stroud. Tank's also a Houston kid. Like, he played college ball at Houston, so he's got that, like, fan love already backing behind him. He's not the biggest guy. I think he's only, like, 5'10". But, boy, is he sneaky, is he speedy. I'd rather have Tank Dell, who also had a really good week.
Yeah, C.J. Stroud looked pretty good in that game.
Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad.
Anthony Richardson looked good, too, until he got concussion protocol.
Anthony Richardson's the man. Like, he's going to be really, really good.
He probably would have had I thoroughly believe he would have had 3 rushing touchdowns in the first half of that game, the way that it was going.
I remember when I was doing the show with DB in the summer, and we were talking about Anthony Richardson one day, and I said he was going to be Rookie of the Year. This was before we knew he was going to be the starting quarterback. Mm-hmm. And if he can stay healthy, like if this concussion won't keep him out too long, I wholeheartedly believe that he'll end up as Rookie of the Year. I really do believe that. I don't think Puka can sustain what he's doing right now. What he's doing is absolutely incredible, but more times than not, a quarterback's winning Rookie of the Year. And the way Anthony Richardson's been playing, I wish I would have bet it when I said it.
Yeah.
I really wish.
And then lastly, I have Kyron Williams for the Rams.
Yeah, you got to pick him up.
Got to pick him up. I mean,
it would shock me if he's not already picked up. If you look at percent owned in leagues, he has to be in the 50s and 60s now, right? Has to be. There's no way that Williams wasn't spam added after week 1. People did that with Puka, and I said, they didn't do it too much with Tutu. Do you have it? Do you have the number?
I do not have that. I have the weekly leaders though, or the leaders overall.
You know, it's really easy on Yahoo. They make it really easy to find this. So
yeah, ESPN's kind of fluky.
Yeah, and that's fine. So Williams is 63% rostered. Like, that's pretty high. If he's available in your league, yes, burn your waiver, but I'm going to guess that he's not available in most leagues.
Yeah, after last week, probably not. But, all right, so say, you need a backup quarterback. You're going to go C.J. Stroud?
Or do I say yes or no to C.J. Stroud?
Yeah, yes or no.
Well, I guess it just depends on who else is available, because I would not be chomping at the bits to get C.J. Stroud, because in a lot of leagues, Kirk Cousins is still available. I'd much rather have Kirk than C.J. Stroud.
He is, overall in the first 2 weeks, he is 7th in PPR.
Kirk Cousins or C.J. Stroud?
Kirk Cousins is 7th.
Man, if Kirk Cousins wins MVP, which he won't, and I'm pretty confident of that, I have to buzz my head. And that award comes at the end of the season. And that's going to be right before my wedding, and my fiance is going to be pissed if I have a buzz cut for my wedding.
I think we'd probably be able to, not have that happen for your wedding.
I don't know. The Hurrdat Sports team is low-key savage. Like,
vicious.
Yeah.
They come at you.
Yeah.
I should have had. Well, Anna has to buy lunch for the entire office if he's not MVP. I don't think she's going to end up doing that, but I threw that in the group chat. She didn't like it.
That was last week, wasn't it?
That was a couple weeks ago. She always says Kirk Cousins is going to be the MVP, and I just laugh in her face.
I expect that more out of Marissa than Anna.
She's a huge Vikings fan.
I know.
She's a big
I'm a Vikings fan too, but I'm not happy with Vikings.
At least you're not a believer
right
in Kirk Cousins being the MVP.
No, I know what disappointment is. No, you see what they're saying about Mattinson at the end of
Alexander? What are they saying?
I'm not allowed to say it on camera. They were just making a lot of death threats to him.
Oh, yeah. So what, the trolls on social media, that's ridiculous.
Not even trolling. That's just flat out being a terrible human being.
Well, so the reason I say trolling is because those accounts are recently created. Like, they don't have any followers. They followed or they created this account just so that they could send a message and hide their identity, which is childish for one. It is scumbaggish for two. And for three, it's cowardless. Or it's cowardly, I should say. Because if you're cowardless, I guess you're not a coward. Unless you're Colin Cowherd. Here, now we're thinking. But yes, so if you're one of those people, I hope you get hit by a bus.
Yeah. You should never, I don't care who you are, never say those things to another human being.
You know what I actually do wish upon people? Like whenever I dislike somebody a lot, I wish that they get a flat tire so it really inconveniences their day. Like I try to inconvenience people's day more than I wish death upon somebody because that's not the Christian heart, Cam.
That's way more passive aggressive and funnier in the long run,
right?
For sure.
Like
yeah.
I hope you hit a deer. You are totally safe, but your car is total.
I hope you stub your toe really hard at the most inconvenient moment of your day.
Correct. Yeah. Like I want your day to be inconvenient.
Yeah. I want you to fart during the public speaking speech. There you go. Yep. Yep.
What are we in 4th grade?
Yep. Yep.
I hope you have bad gas.
I have 20.
I hope it's smelly. And I hope it's not quiet. Yeah.
I hope you have garlic for lunch and nobody wants to eat near your face.
I hope you chopped onions up and then people think you're a wimp because you cried.
That's one way to do it.
No, it's like I hope you drop your phone and it cracks the screen.
There you go.
Those are the things I hope happen to those
it's
people.
a middle one, so you can't really fix it because it's not worth it at the time.
Yeah.
It's just there, and it's a glare.
But it is ridiculous how people just think they can say or do whatever they want, and that's why our society is so unforgiving. It's because we have bad eggs like that in our world. Like we just live in such an unforgiving world.
Yeah.
And it's because no one can trust anybody anymore, and you think that you're a keyboard warrior, and you're just typing away, saying whatever you want, but you would never, and I mean never, say that to somebody's face.
No.
You would never.
No.
Because you would probably get socked and knocked out, or worse could happen to you. You would never do that.
No. But
yeah, that's unbelievably ridiculous. I hate that Madison had to deal with that, and he's not the only guy that has to. Like there are athletes everywhere that deal with not only just like racism in that way, just overall neglect.
like some people just make it their whole personality. Like you messed up, my whole week is ruined. Why? It's just football.
It's just ridiculous.
At the end of the day, it's just football.
It's ridiculous.
We're not playing. That's why we're here.
Can you imagine? Like, I would just like people just to sit here right now and imagine typing out what Alexander Madison received. Can you imagine just typing that? Like, what's going on in your brain?
Yeah, like what deep-rooted issues are you just putting on someone else? But
like I said, they would have their ass kicked if they ever said it in person. But they never would. They never would.
So now we're going into week 3 game picks. First of all, I want to ask how your parlay your $100 is going.
The follow the 100?
Yeah.
Oh, gosh. I keep losing money.
Oh, no.
Hopefully Bill doesn't listen to this episode. I have 2 tickets set aside from this past week. I hit 3 bets, and they were all solos. I missed out on my 2 parlays. I laid $40 on those total. And I had $86 to play with. I'm going to do some quick math. 10 to win, 18 turns into 28 total. 10, let's just say it's about 40 for the other one. So let's just say it's 68. We'll just play it safe and say $68. I lost about $18 last week, so I'm back. Like I have 68 of the 100 left.
Okay.
So I keep hitting my solos. I'm just not hitting the ones that will like put me way up in the green. So I don't know this week if I'm gonna play it like really safe and just do 6 solo bets and see if I can hit all 6, like the most confident ones I have, or if I will do 1 parlay and 5 single bets.
Okay.
So college football's been saving me, and the
Really?
NFL.
Really?
Well, So I say the NFL, the underdog game, because I've hit it back-to-back weeks. So that saved me and kept me afloat. College football, though, last week, I had some great plays, and boy, did they hit. I went with the Sharps, and I bet Navy. I didn't love it, but they ended up covering. And the best bet of last week, I told everybody about it. I should have told our fantasy football audience. Alabama under. Because since 2007, Nick Saban has played in 14, now 15 games after a loss, which think about how crazy that is, for one. But two, in all 14 games leading up to last week, the under has hit after a regular season loss for Bama. So I bet it again, and the under hit. There was 20 points scored in that game. I bet under 61. It was 17-3. First off, they couldn't figure out what quarterback was playing.
Yeah, that's true.
And second off, 61 points is a heck of a lot of points for one team to score because I knew USF wasn't putting up a lot of points.
Nope.
So I took the under 61 and that hit. And now for the past 15 times after a loss, a regular season loss in Nick Saban's career, the under has hit since 2007. So look ahead. If Alabama loses again, bet the under next week or the following week. Just keep betting the under.
So last week, you and Cam both went 1 and 2.
1 and 2 in our pick'ems.
In your pick'ems.
Well, because you made me pick the Bears. Like, you're a dick.
You don't have to. You can pick whoever you want.
He's such a Richard head, Cam.
You could. Nothing says that we all can't pick the same team.
No, but everything says don't bet against your own team.
True.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry. Whatever. I went 3-0.
I went 3-0.
I did go 3-0. This week,
My
though,
name's Brandon, and I think I'm cool.
I had the games
I hope
picked
you
out.
fart in a public speech.
You stub your toe really hard.
This week, I had the games picked out beforehand. Came prepared today.
Good job.
Good.
Yeah. Okay.
Like a Boy Scout.
Like a Boy Scout. Rams versus Bengals. Cam,
Rams, Bengals? I'll take Bengals.
I will take the Bengals.
I'm picking the Rams.
Ooh.
0-1.
says you can pick all the same team.
Well, I like the Rams better in this game based off their offense, purely. All right, Falcons, Lions.
Peterly or purely?
Purely. I have a list.
What did you say?
Falcons versus the Lions.
I will take the Lions in bounce back fashion.
I'm going to go with the Lions.
Well, I'll take the Falcons.
Caw!
Is that what a Falcon
Dirty
says?
birds. Yeah.
All right, finally, the Bills versus the Commanders. The undefeated Commanders, some may say.
Yeah.
Who are you going with?
The Bills.
Cam?
I'll take the Commanders.
I will take the Bills.
Who they got at QB? Heineke?
No,
Howell.
that was last year.
was last year?
Sam Howell.
Howell.
The kid out of UNC.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, looks pretty good. I mean, they're 2-0.
Yeah, Taylor Heineke looked pretty good for a couple of weeks, too.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see if Sam Howell. I do like Sam Howell more than Taylor Heineke, and Taylor Heineke played for the St. Louis Battlehawks at one point. Fun fact.
Tell your friends.
I will. I'll let them know.
Is that it? Is that all we have for the show today?
I just have 3 picks each week.
3 picks. Okay.
I could add more later on.
No, this is good because, like I said, I have my pick'ems, which I thought I killed it in my pick'ems this past week, and I got second again. And I'm like, wait a second here. I picked the Seahawks, and I ranked them all the way up at like 11. So that's 11 points with the Seahawks upsetting the Lions, and a lot of other people had the Lions pretty high. Now, I can't see like other people's picks before I submit my picks.
That would just be unfair.
I would purposely switch some things around to
Right,
get
that's
me
what I mean, yeah.
in better shape. But I thought, wow, I had 96 points going into Monday Night Football.
That's pretty good.
Pretty dang good.
Pretty good.
And the guy that beat me is my buddy's dad, who had 98 points, but he still had the Saints at like 12 points. I'm like, how do you have 98 points and you still have your 12 remaining? What happened? And I know I kind of fell off a little bit on the noon slate because of the damn Packers, and if the Packers would have won, I probably would have won the Pick'ems League, so thanks, Green Bay. I hate you even more as a Bears fan. But I'm going to be team second place in that Pick'ems all year. I just know it.
You're
know it.
just the first loser.
Okay. That's how we're gonna be, Brandon. Okay.
That's
right.
it's a positive way to look at it. You're the first
this
loser.
is not a glass half full moment. Calling somebody a loser is still not being like, hey, there's a positive to this.
You're the best at not winning.
You could always be the second best at losing.
Man, I hope you get a flat tire on your way out.
I already had a flat tire 2 weeks ago.
Oh, did you?
Yeah,
How much
I
did it
did.
inconvenience your day?
It was me driving back at midnight, so very much inconvenience. to me.
Yes. Yeah.
So you wish that upon me?
I wish that upon a lot of people that I don't like in certain moments.
If I get to my car today and there's a tire pressure light on, I'm blaming you. I'm blaming you.
Hey,
Andrew Spice, he's just out there like letting air out of your tires.
I'm going up with a pickaxe. Just back tire.
Spicy.
I'm going to leave the pickaxe in your tire, too. Let you know it was me. I'm going to put my name on the bottom, Rogers. Please return to Rogers.
All right, that's the show.
Yeah, I think that's we should probably cut it before he gets more violent.
Yeah, I don't know what else he's gonna say next, so I'm just gonna cut my losses here. Hopefully.
Oh, with a machete?
This was episode 3 of God Bless Fantasy Football. We'll be back next week to go over the games, how our teams did. If we stay undefeated, maybe Andrew wins his pick'em. Maybe Kahm goes on a winning streak. Who knows? Stay tuned for all your fantasy football advice.
Maybe Brandon has a flat tire.
Maybe Brandon has a flat tire. All right, see you guys
Yep.
next week. Yep.